Okay, this is part 3. Um, for just to recap the parts 1 and 2, we were going over some scales and notes to play with our chords. Now let's take it a little bit step further. The last video we were using a video by Elevated Jam Tracks, and this one is Soulful Bluesy Groove. What I did was punch up a jam track in C and it pops up. It's got a picture of a guitar on there. But anyways, the chords, and we talked about this in the other video, it was a recommendation of what scales to use with these chords going by, and it's in the key of C. So one of the questions I had was maybe some exercises. A good exercise to get you started with understanding the fretboard, understanding improvisation, and understanding playing the right thing over the right chord would be this. I wrote down the chords, and then below the chords I had some chord tones that I want you to target. So as these, and this is a really good jam tracks. My hat's off to these guys. I'll probably send them a message. Hey, I'm using this in a lesson. One of the things I'd like you to do, and this is a good way to start memorizing where the notes are on the fretboard, and as well as the pattern, or C major pattern, and we'll go over that again. But what I wrote down for my students is this. Now, if you see, hopefully my scribbling is not too bad. Freeze that, take a picture of it. Okay, so like the first chord, it's a D minor. Actually, he has D minor 7. And I have R for root, and then a D circled, or pretty obvious, our D is the root note, and then our third, which is F. We could also throw the 7th note of D7, which would be our C. So you could throw that and throw a circle on it just to fill that out. And so on and so forth for every chord in this song, and I wrote it left to right, kind of like the way you read music. And then as you're practicing this without the track, probably first off would be good is to just know where these notes are within the pattern that you're dealing with. Now this pattern that we talked about it in the other lesson, there's 2 of them that we could use. Here's a nice one. It's up here in the 8th fret. It's your C major pattern. Hang on, let me turn the amp on. Anyways, it's a C major pattern based on the 8th fret, and it goes on the E string. It's 8, 10, 10, 7 on the A, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10 on the G, on the B, 8, 10, and then 7, 8, 10 on the E string. So that's our C major. There's another one that we want to kind of play around with, which is our relative minor. We talked about this in the other video, part 2, I believe. A minor, 5th fret, 7th, 8th, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7 on the D, 4, 7, 5, 7 on the G, 5, 6, 8 on the B, 5, 7, 8 on the E. So those are the 2 patterns we're going to primarily play with over here. The first chord is a D minor 7. A good starting place for this exercise, let's say we use this D right here. We could use that. Play the first 4 notes of the scale, whatever pattern you're using. Doesn't matter what it is. We don't have to think. I just want you to start to find these target tones. Here's our D. First 4 notes within that pattern of our, let's say our C is going to be this. We could just play 4 notes and then do whatever you want after that. So as that progression goes, here, watch this. Oops, hold on. Or we could do this. Watch this. Oops, hold on. So that's what we got for our D. Or you could start it right in the A minor pattern, this minor pattern. So there we go. Our next target tone is a G. which is on the 8th fret on the B string. Let's try that. We're going to start at the beginning of this exercise. Oh, another good thing about this YouTube thing, I love it, is you can slow this track down. We could slow it down to 50% or 75%, which would make it even easier to do our little exercises. So here we go, watch this, or listen to this. Hold on. Oops. Hold on. So our chords were G. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our little exercise. If we go G over here, oops, it would go be this. And then whatever you want to do afterwards. Our chord after that is a C. There's our C. Now we could hit this. And then C over here. There's a 1 on the 10th fret of the D string. And then the last in that first 4 is A. And we have an A over here. 10th fret of the B string. Or we have one on the 7th fret of the D string. So now, next time around, these first 4 chords, try the second note that we circled. You got F for 2 chords, so watch this. We're going to start on F for the 2 chords. That was it starting on the F. Sounds pretty cool. We ended on a D there. But anyway, so that's what the exercise I would do. These aren't arpeggios in and of themselves, although you can use arpeggios. This would be a great way to work on your arpeggios. There's some places where arpeggios would be really nice to play. If you look at the second line of this tune, third line, the second chord, there's a G sharp. Throw a G sharp in there and then resolve that G sharp arpeggio to a C major 7th tone. Actually, the major 7th tone, which is B. So watch this. I'll let this play till that G sharp. I'm going to play an arpeggio on 10 on the A, 9 on the D string, 7 on the G, and then that's the arpeggio for G. But the one right before it is a F major 7th. So I'm going to play this little arpeggio or figure. There's a nice little melody for you. So once again, it was a C. F. So I did the root, 3rd, which is the 7th on the D. Then the major 7th tone of F, which is the E, and then come back to the C note. And then I'm going to go up a 4th to the G sharp. So here's a G sharp arpeggio. 11 on the A, 10 on the D, G string, 8th fret, and then I want to resolve this little, I'm going to hit the 4th of C, down to the 3rd of C, which is the 10th fret on the G, 9th fret of the G, to the 10th fret of the D. Let's see how that works out. Let me fast forward into this section right here. Oh, there it is. So here comes F. There you go. So I'll do it again. Now let's goof around with it a couple times here. Maybe we come up with something better. Let's try something else. All right, so on some of these licks, it's going to get quite tedious just playing through these, but the purpose of doing this is to memorize one, the scale pattern, which is your C and your A minor in this case. And then we could always fall back on some tricks and stuff. So here's some of the tricks, tips and tricks. As you heard, you can use like all the licks in pentatonic, put those, it's in the key of C, but we're going to use the relative minor, which is A minor. We can take all our pentatonic licks in A minor and throw those in there. But instead of just doing that, try and know where some of your key tones are, like your C, which is the 5th fret of the G string, your D, the 7th fret of the G. Did I say G or D? G for C is on the 5th fret. Anyways, what are some other cool tones that we're seeing? That F, 8th fret of the A string. Anyways, let's try that. I'll go through some of these scales and arpeggios, and then when it comes to maybe an A chord, because on that, right after C major 7th in that first line is an A. That's where a nice pentatonic lick will work. Listen to this. Hold on. So, did you hear that? That was a little blues lick. I bent the 3rd fret up. It's just a little blues lick, 7, 5 on the G to 7 on the D, and a bend in there. I'll try it again, see what else we can come up with. Oh, here's another thing I noted. On that C major 7th chord, one of the important notes that you're going to want to hear is that B. There's a little bit of tension. If you play C, that 8th fret on the B string, on the E string, it's gonna be tensious. Resolve it to the 7th, the B note, because in that chord, it'll sound here. That's what I do. Hang on, we'll do it again. Watch this. Maybe try singing your lines. That note I ended on happened to be a C, which is the 5th of F, which is where that landed on, that F major 7. Watch this. So, hopefully that works for you. Hopefully that helps out. All right, we'll catch you later on the next one. All right, bye. Oh, any questions, leave them in the comments. And have a good week. Take care. Bye.